After being in business for over 6 years, I have realized that when I'm feeling overwhelmed with something, the thing that probably needs to happen is new and better systems. So that's what we're going to talk about here today. Now, when you hear financial management systems, you might think of expensive softwares, or maybe you think I'm going to tell you about a really, really detailed budget that you need to keep, but we're not going to talk about either of those things. This is a financial system you can do without a budget and without those pricey monthly software costs. I'm Jamie Trull, CPA and financial literacy coach, and on this channel, I give you all the information you need to stay informed, organized, and profitable in your business finances. And you're going to want to stick around until the end of this video where I tell you about my favorite free tool to help you manage your finances super duper easily. So let's jump into those 3 financial systems that are super simple that you can go ahead and put in place now to make sure that you stay on top of your finances all year long. Now, the first system that you're going to want to have in place is something to track your profitability. So this is typically going to create a profit and loss statement. A lot of people will use some type of software, maybe something like QuickBooks or Xero in order to do this. However, you don't have to use a software for this, especially if you're just starting out. If you're new in business, or maybe you have a very, very simple business model, you may be able to use a simple spreadsheet that'll create a profit and loss for you instead. However, again, that's really just if you have a fairly simple business model and don't need all of the bells and whistles that a software program would have. Now, importantly, the goal of tracking your profitability is not just for taxes. And a lot of people tend to wait until the end of the year, and then they're gathering everything up, maybe looking for receipts, trying to find their deductions, and that is when they're pulling together their financial statements. However, it's important to remember that taxes is really the secondary reason to be tracking your profitability. The main reason is to make sure that your business is sufficiently profitable, to stay on top of your numbers, and to be able to make strategic decisions with those numbers. If you don't know how profitable you are until the end of the year, you might miss those opportunities to make adjustments mid-year, to change things like pricing, maybe look into your expenses, whatever it may be, in order to have a more profitable year. So don't wait until the very end. It's really important that whatever system you have, you're keeping up with it each and every month. Now, if you're not doing that just yet, you can get started really, really quickly with my profit and loss template. Go to jamietrull.com/profit and loss. You can also watch this video where I walk you through the entire thing and how to use it. There's a giant fly flying around right now. I'm ready. Get back. Oh, there's 2 of them. Oh my God. It's madness. Nope, my dog's gonna try to get it. Skip, you're not gonna catch a fly. Let's see how this goes. Skip, leave them alone. They're everywhere. I think it's gone. Now again, the key is to make sure that you are looking at this each and every month. So you should be creating a separate profit and loss for each month, which my template does, and I teach you how to do in that video tutorial. Now, the key is to look at this profit and loss regularly. So that means keeping up with it, preferably at least on a monthly basis so that you can see what's going on in your business. And believe it or not, the more often you look at your profit and loss, the more you're going to understand it, and the more often you're going to be able to compare your results of, say, this month with last month, or this year with last year, and that's going to give you some really great insights into how your business is performing. So that's step 1 of this process. And once you've graduated from that, if you already have a P&L, you're feeling pretty good about it, maybe you already have a software that you're using, fabulous. Now it's time to move on to strategy number 2 for managing your finances, and that is to forecast your cash flows. Now, you might think that tracking cash flow and tracking profitability are the same thing, but they're really not. Remember, profitability is more of an accounting concept than it is a cash concept. Cash flow is actually the cash inflow and outflow from your bank. Again, they may be similar, but they're not always going to be. Accountants love to create what I call accounting funny business. Those are going to be things like depreciation or debt that are treated differently on your P&L than they will be necessarily in your actual bank account. And that's why it's important to not just create a P&L, remember that's going to look backwards, but also to forecast your cash flow forwards. So that means ideally looking at least a few months down the line to see how you expect your cash to be going. So that means looking to see, are you going to have any shortfalls, right? If you compare the money coming in that you expect to be collecting and the timing of collecting those cash flows with the timing of when your cash is going out, are you going to run into situations where you are in a negative balance, or you're going to need to rely on debt and credit cards in order to make it through? That's something that you want to be aware of. A lot of business owners deal with wondering whether or not they can pay payroll or whether they'll have enough money to pay themselves. And so that is why a cash flow forecast is absolutely critical. It's actually the thing that I use the most in my business. Even more than my P&L, I am using my cash flow forecast. Why? Because that's cash money in the bank, y'all. That's what I need to run my business. Without cash, it's pretty dang hard to run a business. Now, thankfully, I just rolled out a new cash flow forecast template. This is something that has typically only been available in my higher priced programs, but because of its popularity, I've decided to roll it out so that anybody can have it. So if you're curious how the template works, watch this video where I walk through the entire thing and show you how I use it to manage my finances. And then you can go to jamietrull.com/cashflow and grab your own. Now, what you'll notice is that neither of these two things, the profit and loss or the cash flow forecast, is going to require that you do any kind of specific budgeting. Really detailed budgeting can sometimes actually backfire on you in business because it might dissuade you from investing in your business and making a reinvestment that's actually something that's going to generate you a return. So it might dissuade you from putting money into marketing and advertising where you could 2x or more your money. And that doesn't really make sense from a business perspective. And it's why I'm not a huge proponent of really strict budgeting in business. Yes, you want to have a general idea of what you can afford. And if you're doing your cash flow forecasting and looking at your profitability regularly, you don't need to have a strict budget, and that's the beauty of it. Many of us work for ourselves because we don't love authority and we kind of want to do our own thing, and that makes us not love the restrictiveness of a budget. We want to be able to make the decisions that are best for the business and not be hamstrung by a super duper detailed and specific budget that we have to stick to. So if that idea appeals to you, then that's part of the reason it's a really great idea to put these other habits in place and these other systems in place, because they will essentially make it such that you don't really need a budget at the end of the day. Now, to that end, my third system that you can put in place, and again, this is just something you can do on a worksheet, you don't need expensive software that's going to cost you thousands, is profit planning. And if you've been around my channel, you've probably heard of profit planning. That's profit with 2 F's. And profit planning essentially is taking the profit that you make in your business and then using it for the things that matter most in your business and your personal life. So each letter of profit actually stands for something. Real quick, we'll run through it, but the P is for pay yourself. The R is for rainy day. The O is for opportunity. That's reinvesting back into your business. The F is for future. That's going to be paying down debt or saving for retirement. The second F is for fun, because we all need to have a little bit of fun. The I is for impact. That could be charitable giving that you want to do. And the T is for our favorite thing, taxes, right? We're responsible for saving for our own taxes, so therefore we need to put money towards taxes as well. And essentially this system is where you can divvy up the money, the profit that you're making in your business, into specific buckets, and you're going to assign a percentage to each of those things that I just mentioned. And you can do this in a variety of ways. My favorite way to do this, though, is to use Relay Business Banking. So I've talked about Relay on this channel before. It's the banking solution that I use, and they have an interface that makes it super easy to open up actual separate accounts for each of these different things. So you can actually create a tax account where you're putting money to save towards taxes. You can create a savings account that would go for your rainy day funds. That's just going to be essentially emergency funds in your business. You can create up to 20 checking accounts and 2 savings accounts within Relay, and therefore it's all within one platform. You're not trying to manage multiple different banks, and you can automatically take the money that's coming in and apportion it into these different buckets. So personally, I'm a really big fan of Relay. It has lots of other functionality. You can check out my full review of Relay right here. But if you're wanting to do something akin to a profit plan and put that system in your business, that is a great complement to it. Alternatively, you can track it all on a spreadsheet. If you're using a different bank and you're happy with that bank, then a spreadsheet might be the way to go if they don't have the capability to divvy things up in this way. So you can go to jamietrull.com/profit plan, profit with 2 F's, and you can grab my free profit plan template. This will allow you to come up with how much you want to put in each of these buckets. You'll also get a full tutorial of how to use it and how to decide what to put in each of those different buckets. But that is such an important part of my financial management system. Again, it makes it such that I don't need to have a detailed budget. If I'm wondering if I can afford something, if I want to go above and beyond and purchase, say, a program or maybe even hire an employee, right? All I have to do is look into my opportunity fund, see how much money is in there, and that will let me know whether I can afford it or not. So to me, I don't have to have a budget. I don't have to hem and haw over whether I can afford something. It's already determined because I've already preset up a system that is serving me and my specific goals, and I have personalized it to myself, right? I've set the percentages based on what's most important to me, what my goals are. If you're getting near to retirement, maybe you have a large percentage of your funds that are going into the future fund and that you're using for those retirement contributions. Or maybe growth is your biggest priority and you're putting a ton into your opportunity fund so that you can take advantage of opportunities as they come and grow your team. So whatever your goals are in your business, you can set up your profit plan. It is not a one size fits all, because what is one size fits all in this world, right? We're all different. Our businesses are different. You can create something that works for you. So make sure to go grab that free profit plan template as well. Thanks so much for joining me. All the links to the templates we talked about are down below. And if you want to sign up for Relay, make sure to use my partner link, because you're going to get $50 just for signing up through my partner link. And oh, by the way, it is free. So win-win. And if you've got any questions, make sure to drop them down below, or you can submit them to my next Power in Numbers live show. That link to submit questions is down below as well. I'll see you next time.